thought about what I wanted to say and had a complete blank. And this is what happens to me when I speak. I always pray ahead of time to please be a conduit or a vessel or somehow be of service and be useful. And God never says a word back. And so I'm always panic-stricken, like, are you listening? The first time I came to Wisdom House, I was living in Taos, New Mexico, and I got invited, and I heard that Alan and Mary Lou were teaching, and this was the very first that we had heard that the Artist's Way book was being taught anywhere. It subsequently has been taught in Australia, Arkansas, Panama, England. It's all over the place, but it wasn't yet. It was starting right here at Wisdom House. When I was thinking about, oh dear God, give me something to say to these people, the thing that I wanted to say, it struck me that you all already knew. And that is, I wanted to say that in 25 years of teaching, I have discovered that we are all creative. People sometimes say to me, oh Julia, aren't you afraid that you're unblocking a lot of bad art? What I have found myself saying in answer to that was that it actually seems to be sort of the opposite. I have unblocked, or my tools have unblocked a lot of people, and some of what they do is so excellent that you can't believe that they got to be 50 years old not realizing they were an artist. So I wanted to tell you a story about one of the early people in the Artist's Way group, which I was teaching in Chicago, and I assigned something called morning pages, which I think we should have some knowing titters, and some of you may feel very smug because you've done your morning pages. Others of you may be thinking, morning pages, what the Christ are those? But morning pages are 3 pages of longhand morning writing about absolutely anything. And they are the bedrock tool, the primary tool of creative recovery is, yes, you must write morning pages. So, I assigned morning pages to a group. It was a group about this big. And a woman raised her hand and she said, Julia, have you ever had anyone go crazy from doing your work? And I looked at her and I thought, there's always a first time. But what I said to her was, no, so far so good, but if you find yourself feeling rickety, then you have to be willing to get some therapy for some support. She said, well, all right. I said, you really must do these pages. And she said, well, I'm 55 years old, and I have always wanted to be a playwright. And I have these plays in my head, but I can never seem to get anything on the page. I'm just too scared. For some reason, I'm terrified of writing. I said, well, do it anyway. So several weeks went by, and then she came to class, and she brought with her an envelope, a brown envelope, and she said, here is what has come out of my morning pages. And I took the envelope home and I opened up the envelope, and it was a first short story, and it was very, very good. So that was the good news. Yay, a breakthrough, a first short story. the bad news is that it was a first short story concerned with incest. So I took her aside and I said to her, do you think it's possible that with your morning writing, you're starting to uncover memories? And she said, yes, I think that's what I've always been afraid of, is that I knew I had blocked some memories. So I said, well, remember our deal. Our deal was if it got rickety, you were going to go get some help. So she said, oh, all right. And she went and got a supportive therapist, and she joined an incest recovery group. So this is sort of going along. She's coming into class every week. More envelopes are piling up. She's fluid now as a writer. And we closed the class, and I thought, oh, I really wonder what's going to become of her. You know, it was the end of our 12 weeks, and we were saying goodbye, and I thought, she's really at the beginning of a journey. I was on a subway recently in New York, and a lady came over to me and she said, are you Julia Cameron? And we're chugging along. And I said, yes. And she said, I thought so. Well, I have used your tools, and I lost 100 pounds. Wow. I'm an opera singer. I find that what people tend to say to me when they know what work I do is one simple sentence, which is, your book changed my life. And what I always feel like saying to them is, no, 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 no. You changed your life. But people come in contact with the book and look at the tasks in the book and start working, and it's amazing to me some of the blossoming that happens. One of the things that I think is pivotal with creativity is something that doesn't happen just all the time, and that is that we need to have what I call believing mirrors. Believing mirrors are people who see our goals and our aspirations, and they're friendly toward them, and they think, yes, you can probably do that. So one of the things that is so important about gathering together to do the Artist's Way as a group is that that group tends to become believing mirrors. I want to say that it's never too late to start working on your creativity. I have students who are in their 70s, and they just blossom. Joanne told a story yesterday about somebody who came in to work with the tools, saying it was the right time in her life to begin working with them, and she was in her 70s. So I want to say, don't think that it's too late.